Or the music.
All right. Welcome to Clozer Cult Podcast. I'm your host, Alma Merrill, and today we have Amber Milton. Oops, hold on. There we go. That's the button I was looking for. Live studio audience. So Amber is a friend of mine. We say hi. Say hi. We do real estate in the same real estate company here, same brokerage, and both have kind of that passion for real estate. So thank you for being here. Here's our freaking amazing audience. Audience, hi. We have at least 200 people today in the audience. So Amber, hi.
Hi.
Thanks for being on. I appreciate it. Now I'm just super curious. Now you and I have not talked a lot about like your business or what you do or all these things, but I've seen your presence, your face, people talking about you throughout like the recent years. And I find that interesting because so many people have this expectation that everybody just comes from money that has money, you know?
Yeah.
And so I want to talk to you about kind of a little bit about your growth, where you came from, why you're so wildly successful, and kind of where you're planning on going in the future.
Awesome.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds
all right.
fun.
So cool. So tell me, where are you from originally?
Okay, so I grew up in Sandy.
In Sandy, Utah?
Sandy, Utah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then when I got married, we lived in Mill Creek, like Sugar House area. In
Okay.
Mill Creek. And then about 8 years ago, we moved up to Heber. And now I currently live in Oakley. So,
Heber City, Utah.
yes,
Okay, cool.
yep.
So you're going to love this microphone.
Okay,
Just about like that. Yeah,
that's
there you go.
perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
So
good.
Heber City, and then so now you live in Oakley.
Yes.
Now tell me about your home you built, because when I saw these pictures online of this house, I was like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Is that like your dream home? Like,
yeah. You know, I mean,
okay,
it was
hold on.
interesting.
She
Yeah.
goes, yeah. I mean, so what that tells me is you're a high achiever, and you're like, I
Right.
just did this, but I'm gonna do more in the future.
Yeah,
right?
we'll see what happens. I mean, it was supposed to be our forever home.
Uh-huh.
It took us 2 years to build.
Okay.
We just, my husband builds homes.
Okay. Yeah.
So we
Tell
had
me his
just-
name.
His name is Brock
He's
Milton.
Brock
His
Milton.
company's Iron Rock Customs.
Iron
So-
Rock Customs.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
So we had just finished building a house in Timber Lakes in Utah and Heber City that we were going to move into.
Okay.
And then
Now, where's Timberlake's at? I don't know where that's at.
So it's 7 miles east of Heber City.
Okay.
It's a mountain community.
East of Heber City.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So,
So
like
it's dirt roads, it's
Okay.
cabin property. And then with COVID, the percentage of full-time residents kind of shifted a little bit. So it's about half full-time residents and half vacation property owners.
So you were going to
So-
live there initially. You were going to
Yeah.
build there.
We built our first
did
home
build
there
there.
in like
Okay.
2014 we moved in.
Okay.
And then we sold that one because my husband loved building. He's like,
All
I
right.
want to build another one. So we bought a lot. We built another one. And instead of moving into the second one, we sold it because we found this property, 14 acres on the foothills of Oakley. And the view is just unbelievable.
You guys have 14 acres.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
in
we-
Oakley.
Yeah. So we sold our brand new house and built another one.
I would too if I were you. That
Yeah,
is
so
amazing.
It was crazy. It was worth it. It was a lot of sacrifice.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've been in that transitional phase of, you know, more or less being homeless for a couple of years. And so we finally
Right.
moved in just a few months ago, and it's as lovely and wonderful as I thought it would be.
So where'd you guys go when you were homeless? Like you just
Well, this is
lived
funny.
behind
So-
a trash dumpster, or
Well,
what's
we
going
lived
on?
in a little 2-bedroom cabin with no garage.
Dude, that's not homeless.
No,
You were
oh,
on
no.
vacation.
No. Well, it did feel like that for a little bit. And then, no, this is the funny part. So we rented a house in Francis, and then
Which I love,
we-
Francis. I
yeah.
ride my motorcycle through there. It's just
Oh yeah, right.
splendid. Yeah.
Splendid. And then so the lady that we were renting from wanted to take advantage of the market, and she sold her house. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
that being said, we were like, what are we going to do? We don't want to sign another lease. Our home's getting close to getting completed.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved in our barn.
Shut up. You
Yeah.
moved into the barn?
We
Now,
moved
okay, but out
barn.
here, barns in Utah
Yeah.
are sometimes better than most resorts.
Right.
So was it a nice barn, or
It's a
did you
nice
live
barn.
with the animals?
Oh, no animals yet, but
Okay.
it's a nice barn. But we put like a little kitchenette in it and a couple bedrooms.
Also, one thing I've
So-
learned here in Utah, people call shops barns.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Is it a shop like where it's nice inside and then like you have?
Yeah, when we were going to build our home, all the offices were closed for COVID, so we could not get our building permit.
Uh-huh.
We wanted to break ground. I mean, it's a very rural community, so we had to drill a well.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
yeah.
it is. It's on septic, so it's still on the outskirts of town. But we couldn't get our building permit, but we could do an outbuilding, and so we threw a barn up real quick. And
On
it's
your current property?
on our property, yeah. So
Okay.
the barn goes with the house. But yeah, we kind of made a little living quarters in the little corner.
That's
So it was
rad.
cool. I mean, we put a trampoline in there for the kids. They
Did you
thought it was
really?
the coolest thing ever.
So like
Yeah.
wintertime, they can still play on the trampoline?
Yeah.
That's rad.
I mean, now it has like boats and cars and supplies, and now it's more of a shop.
Right. Okay.
You know, it might one day turn into barn if we decide to get animals. I don't
So
know.
did you leave the living
Yeah.
quarters in there for like guests and stuff? Like make it like a guest house or?
It's kind of like a little guest area.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So-
rad. So tell me,
Cool.
so you're stoked. You just got into the new house. Are you kind of
Mhm.
getting used to it?
Yeah, it's nice. It finally feels like home.
Okay.
You know, like
yeah.
we went on a trip and I walked in the front door and when we came home and I'm like, oh my gosh, home sweet home. We waited so long.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know where you're at in life. We can kind of sense that a little bit. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Tell me where you came from. You grew up in Sandy whole life?
Oh, pretty much. I was born in California. We moved to Sandy when I was
Okay.
3.
Okay. And then what kind of
So-
what kind of home life did you have? What kind of environment did you grow up in?
Oh, an amazing environment. So there's 5 girls in my family, no boys.
Oh,
and I am
nice.
the middle child. My parents are wonderful.
Okay. Awesome.
You know, we weren't rich, but we weren't poor. I mean, I just felt like we had everything we needed. It was fun.
Good. So kind of like middle class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you grew up kind of simply. How many kids were in your family?
5.
5 kids. How many girls?
All girls.
All girls.
Yeah.
Okay. I have 4 daughters, and
Yeah.
I love the girl lifestyle. Like,
Right.
yeah. Now, when I was a boy,
good.
I was younger. When I was a
Yeah.
little boy. When I was a boy, yeah, I transitioned. No.
Now you're.
When
Yeah.
I was younger, I grew up. There were 8 kids in my family,
Oh, wow.
and so
Yeah.
5 boys and 3 girls. But I was all boy, and I was like cars and trucks and Tonka and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then when I had daughters, it was like, what the hell am I gonna do? Like, I don't know how to do this. And now that I've had 4 of them, I'm like, I don't know how I would ever like have a boy.
But
You
that's
know what
how
I mean?
feel, right?
Yeah.
Well, when before we had kids, I was like, oh, I want all boys. I've had enough girls. I
Right.
don't want the drama. You
Right.
know, I'm like, I want boys. And
Right.
here we are with 2 girls.
2
And
girls.
My husband's the most awesome girl dad ever.
And how old are your girls?
They are 8 and 10.
8 and 10?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he seems like he really takes a strong interest in those
Oh, yeah.
babies.
He's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So life's good. Life's moving forward. Let me ask you this. Where were you before you started real estate? Why did you choose real estate to kind of
Yeah.
progress your life?
So I was in I was in retail sales and management.
Okay.
So
Doing where
in
at?
the beauty industry. So I was a district manager. It was called Trade Secret Salons.
Okay.
I was over a territory. So I had Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Nevada, and Utah. And I would travel to the different locations and I do all the hiring and training. And
That sounds really
I
interesting.
sold beauty products. So
Okay.
I did that for probably like 12 years. And then that company.
That's why you always look so dialed, right? Like we're at like the company like pool party, and
Yeah.
you're so dialed. I'm like,
Oh,
this girl looks like she just stepped out of a magazine at the
Oh,
pool party,
thanks.
you know?
yeah, I know. My kids are like, Mom, why do you wear lipstick every day? I'm like, I don't know. It's just part of my life.
It's who you
but
are. Yeah.
anyways, and then after that company, went out of business. They sold. And then I got on with Ulta Beauty. And
Okay.
I actually managed and opened the store just right down the street from Century 21.
Oh,
on
really?
Fort Union.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I did
Yeah.
that, and that was a blast.
How long ago was that you opened that
Um,
store?
It was about 2013.
Okay.
So I did that, and then I kind of will share my story with you. But
Please.
so my husband and I got married in 2001,
Okay.
and we wanted to start our family shortly thereafter, and we struggled with infertility for years,
Oh, right.
and we just couldn't have babies.
Right.
I guess
Yeah,
more
right.
or less. A couple of miscarriages. It's just always a struggle for us. We tried everything we could. And we finally decided that we wanted to adopt.
Oh, nice.
So both of my girls are adopted. Winter is the younger one, and we got her at birth.
So they're both adopted.
They're both adopted.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. You wouldn't, it's amazing how much adopted kids usually integrate into families. It's like,
Yeah.
you would never guess, you'd never go, oh, that kid doesn't really belong to,
Yeah.
So yeah, they look really so integrated. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine life without my two girls, but
Oh yeah.
they were definitely meant to be a part of our family. Like Winter is so much like her dad. It just blows me away.
Aw.
And then Journey and I are very similar too.
So
it's just
Winter
kind of
and
funny.
Journey?
Winter and Journey.
Oh, I love those names.
So they're awesome. So part of the story why I'm going into this is because what affected my job career change was we finally, after 13 years of marriage, found out we were going to be able to adopt a little baby girl.
Oh.
And I was working 60 hours a week, and we were just in the process of building our first home in Heber,
Uh-huh.
and I started getting my real estate license done. Kind of discreetly. I
Okay.
was like, I'm going to switch careers. I'm just going to do it. Like
Now,
now's better than ever.
did somebody say, hey, come do real estate? You'd be really good at it.
I
You always wear
had-
lipstick.
You know what? I just always loved real estate and looking at homes. And I had a friend that was a realtor. I used to wait tables too at the Huddle Sports Bar.
Oh, cool.
It's
Yeah.
just up the street too. But one of my friends was a realtor. Of course, he was in there drinking. I'm like, what do you do for work? Do you have a job? He's like, you should be in real estate. You're so
She's
great.
all, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
You know?
another one up. Yeah.
He's like, you're so great talking to people, and you just have that personality. So that kind of inspired me a little bit. But my husband was super supportive. So he's like, do it. So I did string them online
Nice.
while I was on maternity leave. But anyways, so I did that while I had just opened that Ulta store and I was just slammed.
Right.
And it was kind of crazy because we built our house, we moved in, we adopted a baby. I switched careers like boom, all at once.
Wow.
And it was really crazy. And I always look back and I'm like, if I made it through that huge transition,
Right.
I can do anything.
Oh, for sure.
And it wasn't easy. I mean, when I first moved to Heber, I was commuting an hour to work every day, or, rain, snow, or shine. And it's not that bad. I'm actually used to driving in the snow, but sometimes Parley's Canyon can get a little
I went up
hairy.
Provo Canyon one time
Yeah.
back when I was a truck driver.
Oh,
And I was taking a load up Provo to go up to the spice place that's up there, the
Yeah.
place that makes is it
Cool.
Gossers?
Yes,
Gossers?
okay.
I can't remember.
I think
Anyways,
so.
they make soups and spices and all this stuff. So I'm taking these boxes up Provo Canyon. It's like 6:00 in the morning, and nobody's up there. Nobody's going through the canyon yet. It had just snowed the night before, so I'm like
Yeah.
the only crazy person who's going to trudge up Provo Canyon to take a load up there.
Yeah.
I should have really gone around. But anyways,
Yeah.
I'm on my way up, and this little this whole packed car full of college boys blows by me, and they're flying up the canyon, and it
Yeah.
just snowed. I'm like, these guys are not from here. Like they're
crazy.
they're nuts. And just as they get to that first little turn, as they pass me, they just slide out. They're just like,
Ooh,
they
oh,
just-
scary.
and boom, right into a snowbank.
Yeah.
And I'm going so slow that by the time I get to them, they're actually back on the road on their way, but they're going way slower. Because that canyon sometimes is just like crazy treacherous right after a snow.
Right.
But yeah, so it's not that
Yeah.
crazy. If you know how to drive in it, you're
If you do,
good.
but there's
yeah.
always people that don't, right?
Right.
Know how to drive it, and
Yeah. I was like, I guarantee that kid, he's from like Southern California, like never touched the snow, doesn't know,
Yeah.
and-
It'd probably change his pants after that little spin out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, I was commuting, and here we've got this precious little baby girl, and I'm like, I am not going to work 60 hours a week plus 2 hours of commute
Right.
to send her to daycare and have someone else raise her. And I'm like, I need more flexibility.
Right.
I want to do something that I'm passionate about, that I love. And that's when I was just really determined to get my real estate license. And, like I said, it wasn't easy at first, but it was absolutely worth it.
Right. Because
So-
with the other career, that's obviously what a
Yeah,
career is. You're
right.
tied to those hours. You have to be in certain places.
Yeah,
certain
you had
times.
to be there. And even, just like real estate, right? You're never off the clock, or you're never not working because you
Right.
get called all
But you're still flexible
But
though,
yeah,
which is
but-
nice.
yeah. But
Most
I
of
was-
the time.
Yeah, and then I was the boss at the place, so I had to handle any issues or problems, 24/7. And it's just like, it
Right.
was just exhausting. And, I gave so much to that and it wasn't rewarding. And that's one thing
Right.
that I love about real estate is it's so rewarding. And I didn't even have any idea that it would be that rewarding.
How do you feel like real estate is rewarding for you?
Just because you get to help people and
Yeah.
you get to watch their dreams come true and you get to help them through a stressful situation and guide them. And I love that. I love it.
It's interesting. There's been parts of my business and my journey in real estate where I'm just like, I hate this,
There's days like that.
you know, but I'm like,
Yeah.
and there's been months and weeks for me. And it's like, I love it right now. I've loved it for years, but I'm just like, when did that switch for me? I think it's all about kind of what you're putting into your
Right.
head and your perspective on what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
It's on how you look at it,
Yeah.
how you perceive it and the meaning that you give it to
Yeah.
give to it.
Before we started this this episode, I had all these technical issues. And it was like 3 technical issues in a row. I still didn't solve them, but we patched it together and we're on. But I was like, well, I don't know, life happens for you, right?
It does.
And maybe our episode going on 40 minutes late, protected one of us from a car crash today. You
never know.
You just never know. So
Right.
it's a gift. Even
Yeah.
the trials are gifts. Okay, so you got into real estate.
So I got into real estate.
What year was that? Did you say?
It was like 2014.
Okay.
So, I mean, I worked hard, but I didn't produce anything until
What? You
my
weren't-
first closing was in
What?
January of 2015.
So wait, I thought you were just successful right from the beginning. Like
Right?
what? Isn't this just a natural
It was
thing?
rough, I'm telling you. I was just like, but I was so determined and adamant about succeeding
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't just doing it for me. I was doing it for our family.
Right.
And I needed it. I wanted it. And I think that that gave me the drive to just be persistent and just keep at it until I made it.
So you
So-
felt like it was a more of a hunger for you. Like you
Yeah.
wanted it. You were hungry.
I was hungry. Yeah. That's a good way to describe it.
All right.
Right?
So and so now you've been in the business for how many years is that? Is that
2004. Well, my daughter's is 8 now. She just turned 8. So that's kind of how I gauge it.
okay?
So probably like 7.5-ish years, maybe.
Okay.
She was about 6 months old when I got my license.
Okay. So that's nice. It's
Yeah.
about 7.5 years.
Yeah.
It took me at least 7.5 years to have like any level of success. Tell me what it's been like. So 7.5 years, that's a pretty good turnover to have the amount of success you've had in business.
Thank you.
Tell me what helped you get to there within real estate. It was a mentors, was it coaching, was it training, was it, any specific?
It was a little bit of everything. Just trusting in the process and going through the motions because I knew that if I did it, it would eventually, snowball, I guess. So
Right.
you have to start somewhere.
Right.
And like I said, it wasn't easy. And then plus I had a brand new baby. And then 2 years later, we adopted Journey,
Right.
my older daughter. So we did foster care. And we had Journey for about 13 months
Oh,
before we got to
wow.
adopt her.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
when she joined our family, Winter was 2 years old and Journey was 4.
Aw.
So it went from going to, from having one child to 2 and the fighting and just, the adapting was interesting. And we had bio visits every week,
Uh-huh.
separate mom and dad visits. We had therapy sessions. It was pretty intense.
Right.
And, during that process, we didn't know if we'd get to keep her or not. We wanted to, but
Oh, that's got to be hard. That's got to be a difficult thing,
it was
right? When you,
hard because we fell in love with her from the beginning.
I've
But
always wondered that. Like, how would that be?
yeah, it was hard. But we loved her, and that's exactly what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to give your whole heart away, and if you lose her in the end, that's okay because their goal is to reunite them with their parents. But it worked out where she wasn't reunited with her parents, and we got to adopt her.
Wow.
So that's exciting. So that was during this
That was a
whole
big
thing.
right when you were getting into it and all
Yeah.
that hits and you're doing all those things. So you're having
Yeah.
these other distractions.
Right.
So what helped you kind of grow in that process to where you could feel like you could have some
I learned to really manage my time and
Okay.
take control of the things that I was able to control. So I would consolidate my work days and schedule all my appointments on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then I could dedicate, my weekends and evenings to my family And then I just had, support because you can't do it all on your own. But,
Right.
once the girls both got in school full time, when like Winter was in full time kindergarten,
Right.
now, now she's in second grade. So that was really only like 3 years ago, maybe.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like that's kind of when things really took off for
Right.
me because I always worked. I'm just a go-getter. I don't
Right.
know. People are
I
like,
can
where
tell,
do you
yeah.
get your energy from? And honestly, I don't know. I mean, I've just always been really energetic and I get bored easily. So I like to keep myself busy. And sometimes that can be good. Sometimes it could be bad. But
Now, how important is
Yeah.
environment? Now, you and I have been in a company that is a very high producing, very high energy environment. How important has environment been for you in your growth in real estate?
I think it's very important. I love the culture that Century 21 offers and all of the training and the motivation. And I just feel like if you surround yourself with people that bring out the best in you, then you're going to achieve success because it's inevitable, right? You
Right.
put yourself in that environment. That's the direction that you're going to grow in. I'm also very independent, though. With that being said, I don't go into the office very much. But when I first started, I was there every training. Every single
So
training.
let me
I
ask you
could be
this:
there.
why stay in the environment? Is it because for me, I don't go in there very much because I have
Yeah.
my own external office and
Yeah,
environment.
me too.
But I stay there for a couple of reasons. One is
Yeah.
it's been loyalty, right?
Right,
Because
me too.
of what they gave me in the past,
Mhm.
The other thing is that whenever I need to draw on that energy or that environment,
Yeah.
I can go to it.
Right. Yeah. Same case scenario for me.
Okay.
I love that. It
Yeah.
kind of feeds my soul.
Okay, yeah.
I just love it.
Yeah, because
So-
at some point, you always want to get to a point where you're self-driven or you're self-motivated.
Oh, yeah.
You have your own abilities to grow, but it's so nice to be able to draw on an environment that gives you that synergy so that when you're in like a really shitty day or you're
Yeah.
overloaded and you don't feel like you can handle one more thing, that you're able to go into an environment that's already pre-made for you to be able to have success.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
So, and I've
Yeah.
been doing this almost 20 years and it's like,
So crazy. That's so long.
it's crazy, but it's like, I'm like, dude, I've been at this brokerage the entire time. I've been with the same
Yeah.
leadership my entire career. And it's taught me it's allowed me to come back when I need it. I'll go back to
Yeah.
the brokerage when I need that uplift or if I need another meeting to sit in. Because environment, Tony Robbins says proximity is power.
Yeah.
And so the environment is so critical. That's why whenever somebody's a new agent, I don't tell them, hey, yeah, you're good. You can do it on your own.
Right.
Even if they may be able to. I always tell them, dude, go into the right environment that has the right
Yeah.
people. And I'm not affiliated by any means on the leadership or the income
I
of
agree.
this company, but I
Yeah.
highly believe in the right environment to help an agent grow.
Oh, yeah. And then that's what really kept me going in the beginning. I mean, otherwise, you could get so discouraged and just give up, And,
Right.
and that's exactly why I went to all of the trainings and all of those read books. I still always listen to audiobooks because I'm in the car a lot.
Right.
Just feeding your mind with good material at all
Right.
times.
Right.
Yeah. But I love all of the values that Century 21 instilled in me from the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
so-
such a great organization.
yeah.
And the cool thing about C21 is their ability to market your properties for you effortlessly.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, well, I'll just go with a little mom and pop brokerage. Well, the reason why people pay for the bigger companies is
Yeah.
because those bigger companies have a bigger marketing reach, and which
Right.
equals more leads, which equals more views on your properties if you're listing, or leads if you're a buyer's agent. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
okay. Because I'm always like, I like to see people's opinions because there's so many different agents and brokers and stuff that are like, oh, I'm just gonna go do it on my own and open my own shop and all this stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, isn't that a lot more effort? I'm
Yeah.
going to make so much more money. You do if you really grow it big time.
Right.
But if you're
Yeah.
not really growing it that big, go get into somebody who already did and be a partner. I just had do you know who Boyd Brown is?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he
I don't know
started
him personally, but
so he
yeah.
started all the Keller Williams offices
Yeah.
here in Salt Lake. And they do over $3 billion in revenue a year out of their offices. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
phenomenal. And I'm like, dude, to create an environment like that from where you did, and he's been doing it for 27 years,
Yeah.
he's only 50 and he's been doing it for 27 years.
That's
I'm
cool.
like,
Yeah.
that's wild, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a long time.
but he's like, I said, that's why people go to you, is because you have this option of growth for so many people. They can just plug in and go, and the sky's the limit, or actually there is no limit really.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
So get yourself an environment,
Yeah.
I think that's what's
I think it's key.
yeah, I think it's super
for sure.
critical. What else has helped you? I mean, how do you maintain, you are always super upbeat, every time I see you, you're super happy, you're super upbeat. I know a lot of people put on just a smile when they're in social environments, but I really feel like that's part of your soul and part of who you really want to be all the time. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, I'll have my bad days or something,
course,
or I'll
yeah.
have a moment of stress or something. I'm definitely not perfect, but yeah, I mean, I think that it's just in my nature, and even my mom's like, Amber, where do you get your energy? You did not get it from me. But I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
I thrive in an environment where I can grow
Right.
and do as much as possible, but like I said, that can also be a downfall, if I put too much on my plate,
Right.
I don't want to get overwhelmed. When my business first started really taking off faster than I could handle it. I mean, I had like 7 listings at the same time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm juggling too much. But I mean, again, you just learn how to handle it, and I was used to going like 1,000,000 miles an hour. So when things slowed down, I was like, oh, like George Morris says, I can do more, I can handle more. Like that's always my motto, because I know I can do it.
Right.
I just got to figure out the
Well, just
best
look at
strategy.
Elon Musk, right?
Right?
I've never seen any guy with so much on his plate. And every single thing he does is massive with tons of thousands of people. And it's like, I don't know how you do it, but I can handle more,
Yeah. And I mean, that's one thing that I've learned too, like with my schedule. I have to learn to be flexible. You have to kind of go with the flow, because it's not just what I've got on my plate. It's what everybody else has on their plates too. So I've learned that.
So I've learned this like new thing, because I was like, oh, I need to balance my life. I need to have more balance. And then I met with, do you know who Luke Wren is? So he worked with Tony Robbins' organization for a while, and he came to one of our events that we did a little while ago. And he's like, balance is bullshit. I'm like, I'm all, what? Wait, what? Like, balance is bullshit? He's like, yeah. He said, you have to have rhythm.
I like that.
Yeah. He said, rhythm allows you to be flexible. It allows you to move and be a chameleon, or to come and go when you need to, rather than be so stringent and strict on, this is my schedule. This is where I'm going to be. Because in real estate, you do have to be flexible.
You do.
Right?
Well, yeah. And it's benefited me in many ways in the past, like someone has to change an appointment. If I've got my day so crammed, so tight, and I can't change that appointment, like that's not beneficial.
Right.
So you do have to be flexible. But I like that, rhythm over balance, because I used to be so hard on myself, because I wanted so hard to be a mom. I wanted for so long. And I'm like, I got to devote I got to devote all my time and energy to my kids. But I'm like, but I also want to build my career. And I really do believe that you can have it all.
Have it all.
You can have it both, and it's not just about balance, but it is about rhythm.
Right.
Because, you get thrown for loops every day.
There's a gal that I know down in Utah County. Her name's Lacey. She goes by Lacey Lynn as her realtor tag. But she somehow balances everything, and the girl does just tremendous amounts of business.
Yeah.
But she's a full-time mom too, all the way along the way. It's like she'll drag them along if she needs to or whatever. And I'm just like that. My wife does some of that too. She's a full-time agent too.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I find it so fascinating when a woman, because as men, we kind of sometimes have just this kind of clean cut, like responsibilities a lot of time. Like, I have to go to work these times, these hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a realtor, that's not the case, too.
Right.
But let's say a woman that is, married to a man who has a traditional job, the ability to structure and just be okay with being flexible on bringing the kids if you need to. They can sit in the car on an iPad or something while you do a showing.
Thank goodness for iPads.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that to me means so much. And it enables the working mom to be so much more flexible, especially in the real estate industry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Oh, but networking for moms, excellent. Excellent source.
Tell me about that.
Potential clients. I mean, just when the kids were small, like daycare, one of the employees I listed and sold their home.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and then from that, you get referrals and it grows your business.
And the grocery store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I got my kids trained, man. They're like, my mom's a realtor. And
Really?
they'll like
Do they?
hand out my card. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
they're
child
like my
labor.
Little cheerleaders. They love it. I know. They're so cute. Yeah.
The kids in the house.
Love it.
That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
they're
kids are
great.
we're starting to train them. They're getting to
Mhm.
that point where they're a lot more like conscious of what mom and dad do
Now,
for
how
work.
old are your
So we
girls?
have a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old,
Okay.
a 12-year-old, or no, yeah, 5-year-old, 7-year-old, 12-year-old, and my oldest daughter, which doesn't live with us, she lives
Yeah.
with her mom. She is almost 21.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's wild.
Fun. Oh, my
First marriage.
goodness. Yeah.
She's not my biological daughter, but I
Yeah.
claim her.
Oh, good.
I keep her.
That's good. That's awesome.
So okay, so
Good.
we've talked we've talked about your business, we've talked about growth
Mhm.
as a mom, what you transitioned from. Tell me, who were your greatest mentors? Who are the people in your life that truly mentored you, guided you, gifted you their
Yeah.
time, their energy, their love?
Well, I say Leah Kruger because I'm on her team at work.
Definitely.
And
I love Leah.
I know she's such a rock star.
Such a rock star,
And
yeah.
I just love that I can go to her with any question, you know. And she believed in me before I believed in myself, you know, before I had built up any confidence and I had no experience. She's like, Amber, you can do this, you know.
Yeah.
And she really took me under her wing. So I learned so much from her, and I continue to learn from her. And that's another thing that I love about being a realtor is you learn something new every day. Every transaction's different, so it never gets boring, and it's just continual growth. But Leah's been really somebody that I can lean on, and look up to. And then George, I love George. I
George
love all
Morris.
of his stories.
Yep,
Yeah,
George Morris. Yep.
he's just such an inspiration, and I can relate to him a lot.
Uh-huh.
I think he's funny. I love it. I love it. I love going to the meetings, the summits, and
Yeah.
things like that. And then Tony Robbins. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I couldn't say he's my personal mentor, but he's had a huge impact on my life. And I'm so grateful that I went to my first, UPW. I don't even know. I was trying to look that up and tell you what year it was, but I saw you there.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
first time I went was Century 21.
That was in let's see. Was that in LA?
It was.
It was LA. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that would have been 2018 maybe? No.
That sounds right.
19? Maybe 19.
18 or 19.
18 or 19 right
yeah,
there.
that was the first time I went.
Okay.
And I remember I could barely afford my plane ticket.
Yeah.
And I went with my friend Rita. She's on our team with Leah.
Uh-huh.
And I had bought a ticket at something. They came and spoke at one of our events. And I was like, he's like, sign up now. So I signed up and I was like, I can do this. And I tried to cancel my sign up because I'm
you
like,
did?
I
Yeah.
can't afford this. I can't
That's
leave
a
my
lot of money. Yeah.
my kids. I'm like, for a weekend, there's no way I could go. And I went, and it was so amazing. I loved it. And then that night, the night when I got home, like I stayed up with my husband and I were up till like 3:00 in the morning. I told him all about it. Right. Like I was like, you got to come to this with me. It was amazing.
People don't realize,
Yeah.
people, if you haven't gone, you don't get it. And a lot of
No.
people are like, oh, I went to one of the virtual events, and I'm like,
It's not the
it's
same.
not
I
the
don't
same. Like, I know
Yeah.
they're trying to integrate it in a way that people can really feel it, but being candid like that, when you're in the
think. The
environment,
energy. Yeah.
you feel the souls of everybody
Yeah.
around you. You have that energy around you. And then there's in some way, because my first event was in New Jersey, the November before that.
Okay.
So I went like 3 in a row as quick as I could,
So
you know,
awesome. Yeah.
because I felt like I'm like this tree and I have all this rough bark on the outside. And for the first time in my life, Tony was able to pull back the bark and see
Yeah.
the,
Oh, I
the
like that
smooth
analogy.
parts of my
Yeah.
insides, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if I could do that with just one event, how much more could the next one do for me? So then I
So
went
awesome.
and I was like, oh, I found something completely different than I needed to work on, you know?
Yeah.
And just like you, the first time I went to a Tony Robbins event, I couldn't afford to go.
Yeah.
I was broke as a joke. I had lost a lot of business. I was dealing with some PTSD from a plane crash
Yeah.
that I had gotten in. And I just, which you told me you
Yeah.
saw
I
that
watched
story.
that. Yeah.
But it was like, it was such a time of healing for me
Yeah.
because I felt like my walls were so high and my bark was so thick that I wouldn't let anybody or anything in deep enough to be able to change.
Yeah.
And what Tony enables people to do is step outside of their comfort zone
Right.
big time
Yeah. Oh yeah.
by doing weird things, right? And then
Yeah.
they're silly, but they mean so much to you later.
Mhm.
And then, doing things like walking on fire and just breaking
Yeah.
the habits that bind us.
Right.
And I remember there was this moment in New Jersey, and do you remember the Dickens process?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Holy cow. Like, it's crazy, huh?
It is. Yeah.
And so we had just finished the Dickens process for the first time. I'm actually seeing myself as a raw person again and seeing myself for who I really am. And I remember looking up into the stadium and into the rafters, and I was just having this moment of like breakthrough and clarity and like, oh my gosh, I'm changing right now, and in the ways that I've always wanted to change. And it was like everything was lifted off my shoulders. All the weight was gone. And I was a fresh, new being ready to move forward. And so I had this transformation. It was Lindsay Wardle that actually invited me. And she's like, you have to go. It changed my life. And I'm like, what do you mean it changed your life? It's a seminar,
it really
right?
did, though. I mean, my first one had a huge impact on me. And I've been several times since then. But it was so cool because my husband went with me the second time around. And not only could we afford to go, but we took 2 other couples with us.
Oh, nice.
And Brock did it with his work. So he paid for it out of his business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we had come so far in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
And it still blows me away.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing if you fix your brain, if you fix what's going on up here, how far you can go so quickly?
Yep. Get rid of those limiting beliefs, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because it was similar for us. From the first time I went to the next time I went, I had like triple, quadrupled my income. And
so cool.
Because all the shit was gone. And I'm like, you've got to get rid of it. So I always tell, I've taken people every single time I've gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. And you know what? The last time we went, it was after COVID, kind of.
Yeah.
It was the first event after they had only done virtual events.
That was over in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah. I was at that one too.
Oh, you were? I think I saw you.
I'm going to this next one next week too.
Are you? Yeah. Good for you. I know I want to go too. I want to do Date with Destiny.
I do too. No, I haven't done it yet with Jennifer.
I want to do it. So that's on one of my dream boards. There you go.
Nice.
But we took, so we do Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Oh, awesome.
And our little brother, who's now 19, his name's Lucas, we took him and my niece, who's 16, 17 now. But it was so fun to take them because they're so young.
Right.
And like, if I had, because I don't know how old I was when I went to my first Tony Robbins, like 42 or 3 or something like that. Like I thought if I
You mean 24.
Right?
That's what you mean.
If I had the knowledge that I had that, when I was 24, I'm like, how awesome.
How much better, yeah.
So it was so cool to be able to take those younger kids with us. And I thought it was neat. It was neat to watch them.
Isn't it amazing how much they do absorb?
They did.
And how much they get?
They were awesome.
Yeah, I was like, man, I don't know that I would have been that open to it,
They were really open. And I think it was very... I don't know. I think it really had an effect on them. And that's good because obviously.
Changes their way of thinking.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Cool.
Very cool.
So tell me, so Tony Robbins, Leah Kruger, George Morris, any other leaders, mentors in your life, any books that you've read that really kind of like made you come out of your holes or your skin?
Yeah, but just going back to that mentor list, I'd say my husband's been a huge support.
Huge mentor.
He's awesome. And then my parents, they're so supportive. My mom and dad are just like, Amber, you can do anything you want. We always believed in you, And
That's awesome.
They're always, of course, they're my mom and dad, but they're so proud of me. And I don't know. I love that. I like to make them proud. But and then as far as books go, one of my favorite books is The Compound Effect.
Oh yeah.
I love that one.
I do too.
It's just so applicable to life.
Right.
And I loved it. I loved that one. And then what is one am I listening to right now? I can't remember. I'll look it up. It was called The Power of One More.
Okay, yeah. Ed Milet.
Yeah, I really like that one.
I just downloaded that one on Audible, so that'll be one of my upcoming
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't sit down and read, but I listen to it when I'm driving, and I love it when I'm listening to something that's so inspiring that I just can't wait to get back in the car again.
Yeah, exactly.
So those 2 books were like that for me.
I learned how to do business education from my dad, when he was an Amway distributor, back in the 70s and 80s. And he would always listen to the cassette tapes in the car, back in the day. And so he had this briefcase, like briefcases full of cassette tapes
I love it.
of all these different top producers in Amway. And he would listen. So I got this stuff going in my head from the time I was 5 5 years old or something, or 3 years old.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so he always, he was always this massive dreamer and always had these huge lofty goals and all this stuff. And, he's still around, by the way, but he lives vicariously through us and what we've created,
I love it. That's
me and my
awesome.
siblings. So
yeah. Good.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, dude, Amber, I just called you dude.
That's okay.
I'm just saying dude. All right. I feel like we're like that. Right. Okay. Thank you so much. Like it's been such a treat. Let me ask you this before we go. What would you tell somebody who's fresh in the business, brand new, they're coming into this market that is starting to drop?
A little challenging, huh?
Little challenging. It's challenging, but we all like a good challenge, right?
Yes, we do, right?
So what would you tell them as they're meeting these challenges coming into the marketplace, and how would you advise them to move forward?
I would just say, give it all you got. Don't give up. Believe in yourself. Feed your mind.
Okay.
Do the work. Just, go to those trainings, set yourself up in the right environment. Fill
Okay.
your mind with knowledge and inspiration, and just work on yourself. And, if you do all of those things and you trust in the process and you continuously go through the motions, it'll come back.
And the motions meaning
like
get to work, making the
prospecting,
calls.
like taking care of yourself and just not giving up and really just believing in yourself, I think is so important.
Because they can actually do it, right?
You can do it. It doesn't matter what the market's doing. If
Right.
you're a good realtor, you're going to make it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It has been a gift to have you on.
Thank
Even though we
you.
had all kinds of technical issues, we got it done.
We made the best of it.
We made the best of it. You guys, thank you for watching another episode of Clozer Cult. My name's Alma Merrill, and this was Amber Milton. Where can they reach you online?
AmberMiltonRealtor.com.
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
You guys, thanks for listening and watching Clozer Cult, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.